So for me to be able to help, I guess, pave the way, it's just so cool.
A local golfer making history this year, breaking barriers and encouraging others like her to achieve success on and off the course. Plus, tennis championships are getting younger and younger, but one man is proving that age is just a number, competing at nearly 100 years old. Hello, I'm Theo Dorsey from ESPN 106.3, and this year we had the opportunity to share some amazing stories of athletes achieving greatness no matter the stage. But first, high school football is so much more than what happens between the end zones. The bands and cheerleaders play big roles on Friday nights, and Tyree Smith has an inspiring story on one student who keeps fighting for a chance for her cheer team to play.
15-year-old Layla Rogan, a competitive cheerleader who attends Palm Beach Central High School. May 22nd, a day that was supposed to be filled with fun and family, turned dark and will be the start of a long journey for the cheerleader.
News comes to us through Facebook, like someone's trying to Facebook call us. They don't have our number, so we right away thought something's going on.
Layla was involved in an ATV accident. With injuries so severe, she would be airlifted to St. Mary's Hospital.
She had grade 3 brain shearing. She had a tear in the stem. She had liver lacerations. She had brain bleeds. And a messed up carotid artery, which they couldn't even address because of all the other things going on.
3 weeks go by, with the uncertainty of Layla's survival hanging over the heads of the family.
I think you can see people going through that and say, oh, I feel, but you can't until you're on that side of the bed.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. That's like one of the most horrific. There's no words to describe the emptiness, like just the loss. Like you just feel like you're losing.
She would eventually be stable enough to move to an inpatient facility in Atlanta, and the good news starts rolling in.
One day they said, do you want to see your daughter walk? And there was Layla, walking down the hallway. And
yes, Layla.
just the progress was crazy. They had said they'd never seen anyone move that fast before.
Months go by, and the superstar cheerleader is back.
I don't feel real. Like, I do not feel real. Like, it is not, none of this feels real.
The support she garnered through this process goes far and wide. That, along with the reassurance from loved ones that Layla would make it, kept the family afloat.
I know people will think I'm nuts, but I said Satan cannot have this child. God is not done with her, and her story is not over. He's just beginning.
Are you happy when you see Layla?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I bet you I feel better than the person who won the lotto, just won that billions. Like I feel better than them. Like I truly have that much joy and gratefulness that God spared our child.
Now, if you would like to donate to help the family with medical bills, go to GoFundMe.com and search Layla Rogan. Another athlete recovering from a horrific injury, Jensen Beach's Austin Connolly. It happened in a late October practice, but for Austin, his progress since has gone from tragedy to triumph.
Right now, I should be sitting in a hospital bed, eating my food, fed by my parents, drinking out of a straw.
This was junior linebacker Austin Connolly after falling awkwardly after a hit at practice.
My hand was kind of on my face mask like this, and my first memory was trying to let go of my face mask, and my fingers just not moving.
I heard it. Everybody started running toward the kid immediately, Austin. And it was one of those things that, you just hope and pray because, these kids are not only our players, but they're like my sons.
Doctors felt hope was lost.
The diagnosis that they spoke over me of, paralysis and epileptic seizures and being on anti-seizure medicine the rest of my life and just not really being able to be me.
He overcame it all just days later, and he credits faith and support for his recovery.
Having my brothers pray for me every single day before practice, it almost, makes you cry.
But he hopes to join his Falcons next year.
God's got a purpose, and I feel that one of my purposes is he wants me back out on the football field, and I know, and even though it's scary, I trust him.
He's a fighting Falcon for sure. He's already talking about, Coach, I'm going to be ready for next year. I'm going to be ready for off season. Heck, if I gave him a jersey tonight, he'd be ready to play.
It's inspiring for me, and I hope it inspires other people to show them that miracles are real, and I'm a walking testimony of that.
Sure is. Now, in life, there are many equalizers. Arguably, sports is one of them. It brings people of all ages, races, and socioeconomic backgrounds from all over the world together. And as I learned, that is exactly what happened on a tennis court in Boynton Beach. Leonid Stanislavski is a star everywhere he goes in the tennis world, and it's for good reason. Stanislavski is 98 years old, which makes him the oldest competitive player ever in a world championship event.
He wanted to play the World Championship. Last year in Spain, he played with Nadal. Now he wanted to come to the United States and show people that Ukraine is for peace and for love.
The opportunity to compete in this tournament has brought him to Palm Beach County from war-torn Ukraine. The love the U.S. has shown for him is mutual.
This country, USA, support Ukrainian now during this war, and it's very important for him.
Leonid just being here is already a win. While he didn't pick up a victory on the court, he has a good excuse of why.
He was playing with a person who is younger than he is, than 7 years. But he is really proud of himself because he is more older and he have a power to try to play this game and to try to get a win.
In the end, what the game of tennis means to him is a simple explanation.
Tennis для меня это жизнь.
For him, it's life.
Tennis is life. Giving students an outlet to express themselves, how the Police Action League is growing to much more than just a boxing organization.
You're watching Football Nights
Whew, the sweet sound of music once again filling the air at a local football field. Still ahead, the resurgence of one high school band. It's important to help grow this next generation, save them from things that won't benefit their life and keep them from following a dark path. At times, that can be tough. But as Tyree Smith shows you, one organization in Martin County is more than qualified for the challenge.
P-A-L stands for PAL. Martin County PAL to be exact. And I know what you're thinking. What is that? Well, back in 2017, it
originally just started as a boxing organization. We had so many boxing connections, myself and some of my friends.
Since then, this police athletic league has had
exponential growth over the past 5 years. It's been absolutely crazy. We've seen that there was a need in the community for kids to have an outlet, to have different types of organized sports and different types of organized programs.
To help with appeasing one's interests.
We've added leadership, we've added wrestling.
And my favorite,
we've added drumline.
It's showtime.
PAL is notorious for going out there and seeking out kids and saying, hey, we have something for you to channel your energy into this. You're going to be part of our family. You know, we're part of a big organization. And they also do a good job of portraying law enforcement as, you know, we're your friend. We're there to help you.
Helping guide the young generation to a lifestyle that's healthy and beneficial. What they do here has even inspired a former two-time world champion to be a part of it.
A great thing for kids, you know what I mean? That's the number one thing. You gotta make sure you get these kids off the street, get them something to do. At least that way, you know what I mean, they stay focused. At the same time, build a little character. They're coming out healthier and stronger out of this whole thing, mentally and physically.
PAL has grown from what it was in 2017 from just a boxing gym. But despite all the different avenues it's went, it still wants to maintain one overall goal: transformation of youth.
It's very rare to see other kids motivating other people to do what they're supposed to, but in this environment, it's so infectious for kids to see someone doing something right and then be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it the right way because I've seen so-and-so do it and they're looking great and I want to be great like that.
Greatness, they're striving to achieve one punch, one slam, one kid at a time.
Creating a tradition, how one football game is bringing friends and families together. Plus, it's a game you've played in your backyard. Cornhole, how one local kid is moving up the ranks as one of the best in the country.
You're watching Football Nights.
Bands are such an integral part of high school football, and at Suncoast High School, the music has been missing, well, until this past season. Pads popping, Whistles blowing. Sounds like football is back at Suncoast High. But there's one sound the Chargers were missing last season.
1, 2, ready, and.
The Suncoast Chargers Sonic Sound Band, led by new band director.
Shout out to the bros, Potsdam Spring 10, Norfolk State, Mike Cofield, get at me, aight.
Michael Cofield.
I didn't know how big of a deal it was until everybody kept asking about if they were going to the game, and then the first question is the band going to be there?
The Chargers Sonic Sound is back, baby. There's 4 elements to high school football: offense, defense, special teams, and the band.
It's the most essential if I'm being honest.
First-year head coach Timotheus Granger agrees.
Our team to know once we scored, we were going to hear the band fire up, and it was just amazing. And so that was a missing piece that we didn't have last year.
The Orange Blossom Classic has been an HBCU football staple in Florida since 1933 until it ended in '78. Well, that was until last year, when the second incarnation of the college football showdown returned to Hard Rock Stadium. Now, the real story is the way it's bringing South Florida fans and families together to watch some HBCU football. Show-stopping bands, talented athletes, and of course, tailgates. And for the Studstill family, this tailgate was symbolic of generational ties.
We all have a love of football. My wife, my kids, grandkids, my brothers and sisters, and everybody.
Henry Studstill started it. He was the first to play college football until there became a lack of scholarships.
My father said I had 3 choices. I had the bus, train, or airplane to get back home. So that ended my college career because I didn't have the money.
The pivot was to play in Europe with the Air Force.
That's when my son Darren started watching me play, and he fell in love with it, and he started playing. And he went all the way from Little League to the NFL.
Darren then passed it on to his sons, Palm Beach Gardens alum David Studstill, who suited up for his second Orange Blossom Classic for Jackson State at wide receiver.
He came in as a walk-on, unrecruited, and to know that he's dressing out every day, it just shows to not only the David's young kids that hard work plays off.
And Devin Studstill, Gardens and Notre Dame football alum who cheered on his little bro from the stands.
This is something that you can carry for the rest of your life, so we're very excited for him.
Each generation of Studstills grew up attending the Orange Blossom Classic. David is the first to play in it, sparking a new family tradition.
It's just so good to know that we can do this again, not only for our family, but all the families in South Florida who love college football, especially 2 historically black colleges.
The Studstills celebrated a 59-3 Jackson State win, but what's most important, the torch is still changing hands.
I started it, they took up the ball, and they kept going with it.
It's nice stuff there. Getting your college paid for is an achievement all on its own. But to do that and pave the way for others to do the same, well, that's even greater. This past year, I learned how a Palm Beach Gardens golfer made it all happen by just doing what she loves. Nothing is more intimidating than a challenging golf course.
The debt of college can be scary.
Okay, maybe one thing. JC Goodman is a recent graduate of Palm Beach Gardens. Her list of accomplishments as a Gator include a 3.7 GPA, a district championship in golf. Oh, and how could I forget? Free college.
Being able to not have to worry about that is amazing.
But how?
Quiet on the set.
JC was a 5th grader when she was introduced to golf through the first tee of the Palm Beaches when she had dreams of putting for the dough.
I still remember my first class there. I went to my mom and I said, Mom, I can't wait to come back next Saturday. I was like, I want to continue doing this.
But her full-ride scholarship to the University of Michigan wasn't because of her swing. It started with a conversation a few years ago.
The executive director, Carl Mastretta at the First Tee, had approached me and was like, hey, would you be interested in caddying for the Chick Evans caddying scholarship? And me and my mom, we talked it over. We're like, let's try it out. Let's see if this could really happen.
3 years and more than 160 loops at Old Marsh Golf Club later, she became the first Florida girl to ever receive the scholarship, and she hopes not the last.
So for me to be able to help, I guess, pave the way, it's just so cool. And now we have another female who's a freshman who's going to also try and get the scholarship eventually.
JC is headed to Ann Arbor this fall to study political science, a dream she realized by putting the clubs down, picking the bags up, and falling in love with caddying.
Being around people and being on this beautiful golf course, I mean, I'm absolutely spoiled being able to work here every weekend and see such a beautiful course.
Now, cornhole is something everybody plays with a group of friends. In the backyard, the front yard, anywhere is fair game. And while our Tyree Smith, he has more on one local kid who was dominating in that game and also making some green while doing it.
Because of the flip of a wrist, 11-year-old Will Atkinson is in prime position to
make money while having fun.
And who doesn't love that? The Loxahatchee native plays competitive cornhole in regional ACL tournaments, a sport he thanks his old man for getting him into.
He was playing, he used to play at Gator Shack, and I wanted to play one day with them, and then we just went every Monday after that.
We go from just literally playing 2 games, being out, losing every time. Slowly start scoring, slowly start winning the game. Next thing you know, then people didn't want to play against the kid. Then they didn't want to lose to the kid. Now they all want the kid on his team.
Now that was a year and a half ago. Now, Will is competing with some of the top pros. His success has been unexpected to some.
Will is funny because when Will plays, he was so I guess little, right? He's so little, but so you don't expect someone to be able to A, throw it that far, and then B, get it in the hole every time. And so you usually see a lot of laughter because nobody's expecting it, but he's such a competitor.
No laughing now, just watching in amazement.
It's awesome, it really is. It's so cool, man. He couldn't throw the bag. I mean, he's athletic, he plays baseball and stuff, but he couldn't throw the bags correctly, and he'd be upset, and then now he's used to joke that he'll never beat me. Now it's rare that I beat him.
And he's hoping to beat a lot more people in the future. You would think that type of pressure would be a lot for an 11-year-old. Think again.
I feel like it's like a normal person, nothing more. I just think that they're not pros, just like my dad playing against me.
Still to come, one woman making it her mission to help others, how she is using the spirit of lacrosse to find Gift of Life donors. Gift of Life Marrow Registry started in Boca Raton in 1991. They've helped so many people during their existence who suffer from life-threatening illnesses. As Tyree Smith shows us, one woman is using sports to sign up more donors.
Trying to just educate people.
46-year-old Rose Bradwell
and get the word out and get them to understand.
Is using her story to get people to
actually see the good in being a stem cell donor or a bone marrow donor.
The West Palm Beach resident was diagnosed with leukemia in December of 2020.
I just kind of stay in the moment. I try not to focus on the long haul. I just kind of go day by day.
Since then, she's been working with Gift of Life Marrow Registry as she is in need of a match to donate stem cells. Rose recently spoke to the men's and women's lacrosse programs at Kaiser University about the importance of donating and how it can save lives. It's a part of the Gift of Life's Lacrosse Swab-Off Challenge for Saxton, a program that started in 2020 in remembrance of Saxton Dunlap, a lacrosse player who passed away due to type A lymphoma.
We've all probably lost someone to cancer or something, so it's touched all of our guys, and we kind of get that opportunity to do something for someone else is huge and puts it in perspective for sure.
The message has reached people such as FAU lacrosse player Adam LeBlanc. The 19-year-old recently donated stem cells that saved the life of a 14-year-old boy.
I was fortunate to have the right stem cells, and that was just something I was created with, and it's not something that I had to work for. It's not something that I can boast about, but just by the grace of God, he gave me stem cells that can be used for someone else's good. That was the least I could do for someone, and there was no doubt in my mind that I would ever do it.
According to the Gift of Life website, patients' best chance at finding a match is someone who shares the same ethnicity or American heritage. In Rose's case, only 25% of African Americans find a matching donor.
The African American community, we are, the most, skeptical and hesitant. So trying to get, the African American community on board, is the biggest challenge.
The road to finding a match has been long, but Rose's hope hasn't diminished.
I'm hoping, if nothing else, you know, I can teach and reach someone that can make a difference. Not just today, but in the long run.
If you would like to sign up for the opportunity to donate, go to giftoflife.org and click the Join Registry tab. Thank you so much for joining me as we look back at some of the best stories from the sports world this year. For everyone at ESPN 106.3, I'm Theo Dorsey.